Let's go. The beats are back. Oh, guys. It's a Friday morning and I'm off from work and I'm not in an airport flying to Minnesota and I'm playing in a set championship in like 7 hours. It's going to be a fun day. But yeah, it's been a little while since we've been live. Good morning, friends. Happy to see everybody hanging out today. We have so much to cover today, and there are so many new things to talk about. A lot has happened in the last few weeks since I've been live. Obviously, we did the 2 live streams for Game Center last week, which was a fucking blast. I had so much fun there. Lots of great talks, all that fun stuff. And yeah, oh, seriously, what's up, guys? Good morning from Texas. How are you guys doing? Let me know. I love hearing when people are watching from, because I always think it's fun. Communities everywhere, which is always great. And I definitely look forward to seeing more and more communities. Minnesota was awesome. Before I get into the cards, talked a little about Minnesota on the meta report, but it was a really fun, surreal experience. I actually shared a comment that I wrote on my personal Facebook about it, and like everyone, made me feel very welcomed. Everyone just was great. Really the Minnesota kindness was there for sure. Lots of fun, lots of conversations, great dinners, lunches, all those things. The state fair trucks were phenomenal. It was awesome to be a part of it. It was awesome to play the games I did on Friday night. I wish I could have played Sunday, but the timing never would have worked out. I was on a plane basically as they started the timer for round for the top 8. So it was fun. We were there. We lived it. I look forward to doing more things like that for sure. I was very appreciative of AJ and Vo asking me to do it and bringing me out there so I could be a part of it. I definitely hope to be doing those things in the future. Casting is fun. It's something I really like to do. It's like a new challenge for me. Doing it at PPG Miami was really awesome. Definitely kind of like struck my chords for wanting to do it more. So hopefully we'll see what the future holds with doing those things and hosting those types of events. I definitely look forward to it. But 46 cards today, and I don't have them in any particular order in which they were like released. So it's just, I think, alphabetical on this album. That's how we're going to go through it, which is fine. It gives us a chance to kind of talk about new things as we find them, which I think is good and kind of important, especially if like we can reiterate them and things like that. So let's take a drink of coffee. I got this new coffee mug, right? It's a Disney Princess mug. I was in Marshall's last week when I was buying new luggage for the trip from Minnesota, and I saw this gigantic. This is like 2 large coffee cups in 1 cup. It's plenty of coffees. I bought out Ursula's. Why did you buy out Ursula's? I think I know why. And we're going to start with it because it's like our first card. So, A Pirate's Life. All right. First and foremost about the Pirate's Life here is there's a new keyword for Sing Together, which is Sing Together 6. And the difference for Sing Together is here's any number of your teammates' characters with a total cost of 6 or more may exert to sing this song for free. Now, what I think is intriguing to note here is the word teammates. That is definitely signifying for the 2-player theme deck for the Ursula's Return. I can't remember the name of the theme deck right now, but it's definitely kind of like leaning towards that, and probably future products like it. Maybe future formats like it, the 2-game format and things like that are always a possibility. So I think that that's what like A Pirate's Life is really, or I should say the Sing Together mechanic is working towards, this concept of like being able to play with teammates, utilizing more than one character to sing. I think that this is the start of those situations. So like, yeah, kind of like what Papa's here saying, like hoping for an official 2v2 format. I think it's definitely possible that this type of keyword has that intent. And I think that's really cool. I think that's really nice. I think it's really great for like parents and kids, if they can get into that type of format. Helping, and playing games with your kids, I think is a great way to get kids into the game. I think it's, Ryan Miles and I talked about this a little bit, but like getting kids into games now seems like impossible. So having a 2-game format like that would be wonderful. However, what this also means is a lot of things. So Sing Together format, let's finish the card, right? So this particular is an action song, 6-cost inkable, with each opponent loses 2 lore and you gain 2 lore. So there's a lot of great things about the card in general, maybe even without the Sing Together. But with it, it definitely creates a little more versatility. The fact that this card is inkable is something I really enjoy. Not all of the Sing Togethers are inkable. This one seems pretty fair for inkable. If you look at it like just Medusa, right? Like Medusa's a 4/4/1 lore. She can sing this card herself, which now kind of makes her a little like way better on average. If you're able to sing with Medusa, because now you can just exert, take two lore away from your opponent, gain the 2 lore back yourself as like a mini Aladdin without challenge interactions. So I do think this card, like even as just a normal song, is like good enough. In all honesty, at least definitely worthy of testing, I would say. We'll have to see, but I think the card's pretty strong. I think the ability is pretty good, and then the concept of Sing Together and how you can now interact with like certain characters, I think is really important. Like you can use this to like sing with a rabbit and a fox, or a rabbit and a snake, I should say. So like a 4 cost and a 2 cost can exert, gain you 2 lore, and then you can utilize the rest of your turn to do other things. So I think there's potential here, whether or not it ends up like coming out as like a I don't know, like a more than like a singleton or like a tech card, things like that. Like that's up for debate. But the overall concept of turning some of your more I don't know, like normal 6-cost characters into like slightly better upticks is nice. If this card costs 5, obviously Maui would have loved it, but that's not the case, and that's probably a good thing. So being 6 kind of makes a lot of sense for me. Yeah, so we can cover this now. How does this interact with double Ursula? And what this means specifically is Ursula, Deceiver of All. If Ursula, Deceiver of All is a Sing Together with any song with the Sing Together format, you will get the second copy of the song. A lot of people were confused that Ursula is like singing twice, and that's not the case. Ursula is simply copying the card that she sung, and since she was a part of the original song, she is just copying that card again. It does not matter the cost of the card whatsoever. So kind of clears up a little bit. All right, let's move forward because we got so many cards. It's crazy. Let's see. Will it give me more? No. Oh, here we go. All right, so Aladdin Brave Rescuer, 3-cost inkable, 3/3 with the new mechanic for shift. So this is another new mechanic. I'm kind of glad we're going to get these out of the way. So as we go through, I don't have to like spend too much time on this. But it's not like a new mechanic. It's just like a new cost for shift. But in some ways, it is like a bit of a new mechanic. So shift, discard a location card, which means you may discard a location card to play this on top of one of your characters named Aladdin. So traditionally, we're used to these cards that you have to pay a cost for, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the cost is for the shift. Now this is an alternative cost at the cost of just discarding a card. So what's interesting here is now these particular shift cards are kind of like costing you 3 cards now, which is a hefty price if you ask me. If I'm being really honest, like you need the original Aladdin, you need this Aladdin, and you need a location card to like shift this Aladdin. And then, of course, his abilities, whenever this character quests, you may banish an item. So, it can come in on, what do we have so far? We don't have a 1-cost Aladdin yet, right? So 2-cost Aladdin. I know there's a couple of those. There's like the 2/1 for 2 lore, and then there's the 2/2 with ward. There's street rat. But anyway, like basically like you can now play this on 3 with Rush because of the shift mechanic, and then take out an item or something like that. So you can take out a Fishbone Quill on 3. You can take out Popsicles on 3. And then, of course, if there's ever like a 1-cost Aladdin, then you'd be able to do this on 2. So, like, maybe that's okay. I don't think so. I think, like, on average, Benjin's probably better than this guy in every fathomable way. But it's really just showcasing the difference of the new shift mechanic. I do find it really hard that kind of like committing 3 cards to put this into play seems fairly steep. I think that's like my first kind of like thought process of it is you're just like, now granted this is a steel card, so you're in a whole new world deck, so like maybe this is a way to like just dump out cards faster and make a whole new world even more oppressive in those types of concepts. But it's really hard to say. My generic first thought when I read this card was not very good. So, yeah, that's where we're at. All right. So this woman had a lot of talk, right? So Ariel, what do we got? Singing Mermaid there, 4-cost thinkable, 3/3, 2 lore with Singer 7. So obviously we can sing Be Prepared now on turn 4 if we have like Lantern or Dock or Pluto or like whatever other way you want to make this card cost less. I do think it's interesting that she's like the same stat line as the Who's It Collector, which was like the 4-cost uninkable 3/3 with 1 lore. So it's interesting to me that like we keep seeing similar stat lines for Ariels. It is cool that I guess we have a Singer 7 for this is the first one. I think it's the only one. So that's a new and cool thing to see. Obviously, this goes up 3, which is very similar to her 3-cost that goes up. No, not 3x is 5. So like this might be, is this the first card we're seeing that has a +3? I can't recall of any others, right? So going from 4 to 7 is, I guess, pretty insane for that cost. But even it's just like a 4-cost that like just sings literally anything is interesting. The Sing Together mechanic does like this. There's a card that's going to come up that definitely likes this and things like that. Do I think that this is like meta breaking? Not really, if I'm being completely honest. Do I think it's interesting? Sure. It's definitely different, but I'm not too sold on this like world where we need to be prepared on turn 4 or 5 anyway. We can probably just better off play 1-for-1 trades and feel better about ourselves. So I don't know. Maybe, but the 4-cost 3/3 stat line, and maybe if we were like a 4-cost 2/5, I'd feel a little bit better, but the 3/3 dies to like so many things. It gets banished to like everything. So I don't think I'm like too worried about it. I don't know. Up and down, up and down. P.S. Feel free to go at it in chat. Let me know if you think I'm right or wrong. These are like mostly hot takes because I don't want to spend too much time on a given card. But yeah, there's so many cards, and we're gonna try and get through them. All right, so Be King Undisputed is a 4-cost uninkable song action, which is each opponent chooses and banishes one of their characters. So I like this card because I think the ability is necessary and it's good for games and it helps us get around cards like Cogsworth and maybe even Prince John. Probably less likely Prince John, but it is possible that if your opponent is making certain trades or certain like quests with their Prince John and like taking those answers, that you can maybe trade out the Flynns and trade out other things and kind of get rid of some of their characters and then sing this song to like punish them for leaving certain things in certain levels in play, similar to like Lady Tremaine lines, but earlier in the game. Obviously, this isn't a character that comes and it does it. It is a song. It's interesting to me, like just from a lore standpoint, that Lady Tremaine kind of has this ability, but like this is like a Lion King song. I don't really know. Kind of weird, kind of different. But I think this card's good. We're running into this world where Uninkables is a really difficult situation for many decks. But if we're just looking to impact the game earlier, then I think this card's fine. If we're looking to just utilize this card in different decks, like that have more shiftable characters, 4/4 and 4/5, then I think this card's even better, in all honesty. It might not be that good in the traditional Ruby Amethyst that we're used to like seeing, but it could kind of be good in one of those like other combinations with Ruby, like Sapphire or Amber. Amber would like this probably. So I could see things like that. We'll have to see. But I do think this card is good. I just at ground floor, you know, and I talk about this a bunch. Like when the set comes out, I'm gonna play like every single new card. Most of my decks will be like a core from a current deck, and then like just splatter it with as many new cards as possible as it fits. So cards like this are definitely cards that I start playing immediately, because when you read a card, you're like, yeah, the card's clearly good. It's just a matter of like how good and how many like, copies of it need, how important it is, like how important is it that it's a song, how do I make that work? So like I think that there's a lot of potential there for this card. So that's where I would be. That's all. Brawl, more Ruby, more Ruby removal, 3-cost inkable action, banish chosen character with 2 strength or less. Sure. This card's awesome in limited. You know, not that we play a whole bunch of limited, but this card's awesome there. I think maybe this card sees fringe playability depending on the metagame. It definitely answers some problematic cards like Minnie Mouse Surfer if like she's still running around like crazy. You know, it answers like Pongo. Yeah, you know, there's definitely things that this card's good against. I just don't know if it's like better than just playing a natural character on average. Killing Flavor Sham is awesome. That's definitely a good thing. I can respect that. Strength reducers, yeah. You know, Kita. I think there's some new cards in the set that we're gonna see shortly that also kind of do it. Like they compound, they make this interesting. They make that work too. But I don't know. As an action, it's tough to say for sure. But this is like if Dragonfire was good for as long as it was, there's a good chance that like an inkable lower costing Dragonfire is good. So it's harder to count it out. This is another card that definitely will, once we start, it'll be seed played and it'll probably be fine. Just a matter of like where it fits and if it's necessary, depending on the current metagame, is my guess. The fact that it's inkable is huge. I think that's a very big deal, and it has a lot going for it in its favor for at least being a 1 or 2 of, I would say. Chen Po, 5-cost inkable, 4/7, 1 lore, bodyguard. Sure. I don't, you know, this card's fine. I don't think I don't know. Maybe, but probably not. I don't think we have to spend too much time on this one. At your point, doing 2 cards to get rid of 1 card. Yeah, it would matter. It would matter if like it's just fitting and like it makes sense, like with shift keyed and things like that, and like you're using your extra card to like remove something on the spot. Might be okay. It's probably very similar to like World's Greatest Criminal Mind and Queen, which it doesn't come up enough, I guess, and that's kind of the problem. So maybe there's that. I don't know. I'm with you. It's hard to say. Yes, this is in fact a card. Touche. It's a brand new character too, so I'm sure someone out there is very, very happy. Chifu, 3-cost, inkable, 0 strength, 5 willpower, 1 lore, and overly cautious. While this character has no damage, he gains +2 lore. Okay, you know, 3 lore with 5 willpower and 3 lore if he remains undamaged. Like that's above rate on average. Most of our 3 lore characters only have 3 willpower, or they cost significantly more than 3. So like maybe the aggro decks like this. You know, maybe it depends on like how big prevalent like the steel metagame is, but I can see a world where this card might fit. But I think there's a really good chance that this card just completely falls off. This is probably one of those cards where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna play it, and then like the first time it gets hit by like a Storm Rage on, you're like, oh, I now have a 0-5 with 1 lore. What's that doing for me? So, Cricky! This guy is very interesting. So 5 cost thinkable, 3 strength, 4 willpower, 3 lore, and the ability of spreading good fortune. When you play this character, your other characters get +3 strength this turn. So this might be a way for Emerald to like come from behind in matchups through challenging, and it's definitely has the potential to like keep players honest. We're so used to like 1-2 stat lines and O1s and like just like super lower stat lines on most curves for cards, even cards like Cusco, even like your Rays and stuff like that. Like any of your like evasive characters, like most of them are just like low stated, and like a lot of the stuff that you fight into kind of like you can't get rid of. So this card coming into play and maybe like giving you the board back, along with being a 3 lore character with 4 willpower, I think this guy's pretty good. The fact that he's inkable is like pretty insane too. If this card was uninkable, it'd probably just be completely unplayable. But this is another one that I think that this could create maybe a slightly different archetype for it. I don't know off the top of my head, does this like somehow make Pete better? Like, does Pete hit a trigger point that he's supposed to, or things like that? I'm definitely not sure. Everything dies the fox, man. Everything. Like, listen. Everything dies the fox. Yeah, I mean, Crab is definitely good. So, this is a fact that you give Crab to everything. I don't know. I think this card has a chance. We'll see. Oh, okay. Oh, I gotta breathe for this 1 second. Okay. So before we talk about Diablo, right? Let's have a drink of coffee. How's everyone doing this morning? The first time I read this card, I was pretty scared. But I thought about it. The mug, yeah. Here we go. Make today magical. Shout out to Melissa in chat, right? This is my girl Melissa. Shout out. Hope you're doing well. Man, Diablo's something. Let's talk about him. So, 3 cost, uninkable, 2 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore with shift, discard an action card, evasive, and circle far and wide during your each opponent's turn. Each opponent's turn, by the way. Woo. Whenever they draw a card while this card is exerted, you may draw a card. So, currently we have the 1 cost Diablo in Amethyst, that if we get to live the dream, we can play, Wall of Texas for sure. We can live the dream, play Diablo on 1, and then on 2, we can play Bucky, and then play this Diablo on top, make your opponent discard a card, and then quest, gain a lore, and then send it to your opponent, and literally at the start of your opponent's turn, when they draw a card, you get to replace a card. Now, that's a lot that has to happen. You have to have your 1, you have to have this, you have to have an action card. It's a very large commitment with a particularly high ceiling for sure. So I feel like this is a very high risk, high reward type card, but it also could just be low risk. I mean, there's not a ton of cards that answer this early. Obviously, Fire the Cannons, it might just become a necessary evil if this card becomes a thing. But you're in Emerald. You can also, instead of playing Bucky, we can just play Ursula Deceiver, look at our opponent's hand, see they don't have an answer to Diablo, shift Diablo in, start drawing cards, start revealing yourself. There's a lot to like about this card, aside from it's kind of awesome looking as well, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I mean, at the very base level, you're drawing a single card, but what it does after that is just even more insane, because it really does kind of like shut off, like we're saying in chat, like it shuts off flavor shams, it shuts off friends on the other side, rabbits, like, the list kind of goes on and on. This card, I think of all the cards we've seen so far, is probably the first and closest to meta defining. Yeah, this one might be a problematic card in the future. I just see, I see a lot of potential for this. It is a huge commitment. You do need to see a specific line, but mulligans in this game are very friendly. You can very much hard mulligan to get the 2 Diablos in your opening hand. We'll have to see, but I think this card, without a doubt, has a chance to be a standout for sure. It's very, very good. Let's dig a little deeper and get a little closer to this image. So dig a little deeper is an 8-cost uninkable action song with Sing Together 8. As we said before, this is nice because it means you can use multiple characters to sing this song. Its ability is look at the top 7 cards of your deck, put 2 into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So this card, I mean, like 7 cards is a lot. like a ton. So Sing 8 is a high cost, uninkable, a little unfriendly, but molding your hand, if you can get the numbers to work, I think is interesting. Right now we're seeing the resurgence of How Far I'll Go in the blue, in the Sapphire Ruby ramp decks. And I do wonder if we can get to a point where maybe this is good. I think it's 7. This was like really live, but it's also uninkable. But if you were able to go like Mickey into your 5, like Mickey into Cogs or something like that, you'd be able to sing, dig a little bit deeper on 5, find what you're looking for, and then play the game. So I think that like even that line now seems really good to me. And it's not the only line, but it's just the first line off the top of my head that kind of came into order. The 8-cost uninkable might be a stretch. Again, if this was 7, I think it's like surreal, but 8 is a little harder. The Sing Together definitely helps. I just think that anytime that you can look that far into your deck and then like literally shift stuff to the bottom, so you're like getting rid of all the dirt and you're just picking up, straight up like basically the gold, the treasure of this. I think there's a lot of chance here. So I actually think this card is likely going to see play, but I can also see, I can see enough reasons why it doesn't. But my first instinct is that this card is good. And if you can create the lines through ramp correctly, then singing it shouldn't be that difficult. And molding out that many cards from your dead draws and things like that is huge. The fact that you can sing it for 8, like basically for free, and then still have a turn is a whole other thing. So, and I guess like when in doubt, like the ramp decks can just like take a turn off and pay 8 to play this. I don't think I would be doing that on average, but it's an option. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I do think the card's pretty good. We have to go back. No. There we go. Elsa Storm Chaser, 3-cost uninkable, 1/4, 1 lore with the ability Tempest. Chosen character gains Challenger +2 and Rush this turn. I mean, I don't know. This is a fine. I'm not crazy about it. The art is like awesome. I'm also, I'm a diehard Frozen fan here, so I love the art on this card. I can't wait to get the card foil. But yeah, it's pretty meh. I don't think I don't know. I don't see it. I'm not a big fan. Flotsam and Jetsam, Entangling Eels, 6-cost inkable, 5 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore, with the ability of shift, discard 2 cards. I think this is the only character with the shift mechanic of discarding cards that can immediately play a whole new world. So that's notable. If we like shift on to our Jetsam or Flotsam, like whatever one we want, I guess, and like discard the 2 cards, immediately get them back with a whole new world, like maybe that's okay. But I think that's like a pretty fair a whole new world. So I don't even know if that's that big of a deal. I think it's really unique that these are like the first co-op characters on a card. I wonder now if like we'll see more, or if this is really just like a flotsam and jetsam thing. But I could definitely see cards like this in the future. You know, like Rapunzel and Pascal, or Ariel and Flounder. You know, like I think that this is like setting a precedent for those things, which I think is really cool. But at the end of the day, I personally think this card is like not very good at all. My friend Nate, teammate Nate, like loves this card. I'm just like, I don't know. I think it's like Timon and Pumbaa, really good. Chip and Dale, really good. All those things are perfect. But yeah, I'm not crazy about this one. I think it's pretty mid. Speaking of Flounder, shout out to our friend Citizens of Lorcana. You're the best, Jarrett. 3-cost inkable 2/2 support with 2 lore. And I'm not a guppy. If you have a character named Ariel in play, you pay 1 less to play this character. So then it's a Pua with support. No, love Flotsam and Jetsam. Nate, he does. He loves them. He's insane. It's crazy. Shout out to Dave in chat. What's up, Dave? Thanks for hanging out today, buddy. Thanks for joining the fun. So yeah, for 2 ink, 2/2 with support and 2 lore, Pooh is not seeing any play. Let's be honest, guys. I do not think that this card is gonna see any play either. It doesn't really do anything at all, I would say, on average. So sorry again, but cool art though. Something new for all our Flounder meme friends. I know some of you are out there love for the Flounder memes. Gunther, not the guy who bumped into me at WrestleMania, by the way. Not the same person. 4-cost inkable, 3 strength, 3 lore, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore. With the ability of Sad Eye Puppy. When this character is challenged and banished, each opponent chooses one of their characters and returns that card to their hand. As sad as the puppy dog eyes are here, yeah, I don't think they're happy about this card. It seems super mediocre. Hercules, aka Rafiki. I know all you OGs know what I'm talking about here. 3-cost uninkable, 3/3, 1 lore, and rush. So we get. That's all we need. It's a Rafiki. Currently, Rafiki is not really seeing play. Yes, this is a Ruby card, but yeah, I don't think this is getting seen play anymore. But cool art. I like it. It's funny. Imperial Proclamation, 1-cost inkable item. Call to the front. Whenever one of your characters challenges another character, you may pay 1 less for the next character you play this turn. That's like a lantern with rules. Like, I mean, it requires your opponent to even have a character that you can challenge so you can get its ability. I don't know. Like, there's some snowball effect. Whenever one of your characters challenges another character, you may put them less play next card. Note that there is no restriction on this. So if you have multiple characters that challenge multiple things, you would get -1 less for each. I believe. I think that like it would go into the bag and you could utilize it when you want to. So that's kind of interesting. But again, it requires your opponent to have multiple characters like exert it for you to even challenge them, to even get the ability. So it might be a lot to ask for, but it is a 1-cost inkable, which is notable. We all love like 1-cost playable inkables. I mean, right now we're still seeing cards like Shield of Virtue. Just seeing play because Hiram likes to eat, 1-cost inkables. So, like, maybe, I don't know. There's some layer to it, but it does require your opponent's help a little bit. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe. I don't know. It has some interest. Jock, 3-cost thinkable, 1/4, 2 lore with the ability of Sneaky Idea. Whenever you play this character, chosen opposing character gains Reckless during the next turn. So this is like a strictly better. What was that character's name from set 1 that people loved and played all the time? The 2/4. Where's my emerald tryhards in chat? I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I can't remember his name right now. But this guy's like strictly better. Jasper. I got it. It was Jasper. Yes. See, Scott, I got it right before you said it, Scott. Right before. Shout out to Scott, guys. Scott's hanging out in chat. See? He's here. He's here. He's here with us. He's just working. Look at the Lannister. Of course he's wearing a Lannister emoji, obviously. So yeah, so Jasper. This guy's like clearly a strictly better Jasper, if you ask me, which is nice and good and great. Will that mean he sees play? Debatable. Maybe. Doesn't have the worst stat line. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Hard to say, but maybe. So many cards, guys. So many cards. 2 cost, Khan, Beloved Steed, 3 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore. Card looks awesome. See you later. Won't probably will never ever see play. Oh God. that was so fast, guys. 3 cost, Inkable, Li Shang, Valorous General, 3 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore, shift, discard a character card, lead the charge. Your characters with 4 strength or more get +1 lore. I don't see it. I don't think this guy's good. Hey, no, this is hey, listen. This is way faster than Tech Talk ever would have been. If we're being honest, you got to give me that. This is way faster than Tech Talk ever would have been. Okay, so like back to this card, right? Like I don't. This card's like not good, right? This card seems bad. Listen, stop it. Stop it. I don't think this card's very good. I'm ready to be wrong. I don't think this card's very good. Ling, Imperial Soldier, 3 cost, Inkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower, full of spirit. Your hero characters get +1 strength. So like this is all the weight set. Gives Maui. What does that do? What is giving Maui +1 lore do? He can't quest. Oh, there you go. Goats can quest for 2. Changing the world. I think Scott has the best point here. If there's a smaller Li Shang, it's playable. I don't know if that's true for what it's worth. I will say that discarding a character card is the easiest discard probably. Like on average, I would say. So like there's that. I'm just, yeah. Oh, yeah. Clayton, it's because I'm smart, buddy. I'm smart. I'm smart. This character seems pretty meh. I don't think we're playing it. Oh, all right. Let's see. So here's our 7 cost Inkable sing together. Again, multiple characters can sing this, which is great. You can pair up, team up, even with your team, etc. So that's cool. The ability of look at the family is, or look at this family is, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal up to 2 character cards and put them into your hand. Put the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is similar to the Dig a Little Deeper, but it's inkable and it's only characters. And you have to reveal them also. So I think Dig a Little Deeper, if I remember correctly, you don't have to reveal the cards. This is like a double Be Our Guest, essentially, but it costs 7. I'm not crazy about this card. I think in like, if there is like some layers of combo and Amber, obviously if you can go sing 7 and find Mother Gothel and Rapunzel, you're like, yay. I can draw even more cards this turn. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Like this card's inkable and it does allow you to dig a little deeper. I see what I did there. But it's only 5 cards. So I don't know. It seems like kind of meh, if I'm being honest. Like Encanto kind of feels like it got shafted here. Yeah, right, or no, no. So if we look at the card, I'll scan a little bit more. Any number of your teammates' characters with the total of 7 costs or more. So it's any number. So one character, like 1 is any number. So 1 7-cost character or 1 character with Singer 7, or Chernobog, for an example, can sing this song without a problem. Yes, I would be willing to bet that this is in the starter deck. Absolutely. Ah, Lost in the Woods. 4-cost inkable. All opposing characters get -2 strength until the start of your next turn. Action song. So again, this is weird to me. Same mechanic as Kita, but now we're in Frozen. So like we see all these like cross like things with similar abilities. This is another one. All opposing characters is interesting. There's obviously some combos with this, with some of the other cards we're going to see in them like coming up, but it enables trades, I guess. Maybe it enables worlds where you can put damage on your characters and they survive, and then you can Rapunzel them. But I think it's a pretty low impact in general, right? I don't know. I love this. Diehard Frozen fan here. Song is like hot fire, but this particular text box on this song, I'm not too excited about. We'll see. Painting Roses Red. Yeah. Straight up, like just flat better. And that card doesn't see play, right? So there's kind of your answer. Luisa Madrigal, 3-cost inkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower. I'm the strong one. While you have another character in play, this character gets +2 strength. A lot of weight set, guys. I know you guys have been already talking about it, right? This card seems good. This is like almost always a 4/4, I would say, for 3, which is great. That's probably what you really want. Right now, you have so many conditional 3-cost 4/4s that this card seems pretty solid, being like a guaranteed 4/4. If it starts to matter, then like this card seems even better. But like I don't know that it matters enough. Like the problem is that with all these like 4 strength, 4 willpower, or even like 3 strength, 4 willpower, is that the only ones that end up being play are the ones that like does stuff, and this doesn't really do anything aside from being a stat stick, and that's been kind of proving like that doesn't matter. So since that doesn't matter, then like even though this does exactly what you want it to do, it still might not be good enough. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like it does exactly what you wanted to do, which is great, but is it? I don't know. Hard to say. Magic Broom, Ariel, Cleaner, 2 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, winged for a day. During your turn, this character gains evasive. So it's another broom, right? So many brooms. It's a reverse Jafar, right? Jafar's a 3/2. This is a 2/3. So like maybe that matters. As a broom, we can make it cost 1 less. So like as a 1-cost 2/3 with evasive, that seems okay. With the sorcerer, the sorcerer's tower, and the Mickey, this is a 1-cost 2/3 with evasive and 2 lore. They all seem okay. I think there's a lot of synergy for this to be good, but I don't know if that's gonna like make it good. I think this is like a real definition of synergy versus power, and if all of the things that you can do with brooms kind of come together and make it so this card is great and like every other card in it with synergy is great, then like maybe we're in the right place. But until we see like more brooms or more support for brooms, like like Sorcerer Mickey and things like that, like the Sorcerer Tower, I don't know if this is making the cut anywhere outside of any of those. I will say that this room is very interesting, right? Like if we go full screen here, like we have a lamp, we have Ursula's net, we have the shell necklace, like the candle here. Like there is a lot of like really cool stuff going on in Lorcana. That is super intriguing to me. Like I know I'm not like some crazy lore channel or anything like that, but even I can see some stuff and go, that's kind of interesting. So lot of story to be told there. But as for a card, is synergy enough? We'll have to find out. This one's small. All right. So Mulan, enemy of entanglement, 2 cost inkable, 1 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, time to shine. Whenever you play an action, this character gets +2 strength this turn. Sure, probably not. Probably mediocre. She is a shiftable target for some of our shift lines that we're seeing that might be important. But yeah, like that's it, right? Like she's just a shift target. So like being a 2 cost 1/3, I guess is okay enough to shift onto. Whether or not the cards are good enough and turn out to be good enough is still debate, but at least now there is like an actual reasonable shift target, which is if those cards are good, then this card just ends up being playable by default. So we'll see. Ah, wrong way. Mystical Rose. Dispel the entanglement. 2 cost inkable item with banish this item. Chosen character named Beast gets +2 lore this turn. If you have a character named Belle in play, move up to 3 damage counters from chosen character to chosen opposing character. This isn't the first time we're seeing this like move damage thing out of Amethyst. It's also on the legendary Maleficent from Inklands. So it's cool to see a card similar to the Lamp, right? This is just like the Jafar and Genie Lamp. So that's pretty notable. This is very similar, it's kind of like in the same lore base of now this is for Beauty and the Beast, which I think is pretty sweet. I don't know if this card's good enough. Like moving 3 damage seems insane. So if we can get away with like consistently finding a way to move 3 damage to to opposing characters, that seems nuts. The +2 lore is really interesting with Relentless Beast. If we can kind of set up the combo to now all of a sudden Relentless Beast only needs to challenge like 5 times, or I should say quest 5 times rather than 10 times, that definitely messes with some numbers and some ways to like win the game faster. But I don't know. Hard to say. It will be interesting again, like since we now have the Flotsam and Jetsam card, team up cards like Beauty and the Beast. If it was Beast and Belle, and if we get like somehow like a Jafar Genie, which doesn't make any sense, but like let's say it happened, cards like these will become instantly better because that means you'll like instantly get both things for it, which I think is really cool. I just don't know, you know, is there any decks right now that's playing Beast and Belle? I don't think so. So this has to be like a new thing that like creates reasons to play both in your deck to try and get maximum value. Not that you need to play the Lamp with Genie and Jafar, but it would be nice if you could. So over the test of time, we're always looking to see if there are cards that like make these cards better. Right now, we might not be in that position, but it's a lot of text for a 2 cost inkable item. Like it's hard to say that this card's not good enough. I just don't know its place currently. Guys, another coffee break, okay? There is no purple bell or beast that's not steel. No, there's green, there's emerald bells, there's emerald beast. So like an amethyst emerald deck could play both of them. The mug is nice, I won't lie, right? Make today magical. I bought it at Marshall's. It was like $7. It was great. So I was sitting there. What was it? Tuesday morning when the new shift mechanic kind of got launched in the article. And my God, when I saw Olaf, I got so excited. I can't remember. I think it's been several, but pretty much like anytime in an interview when I'm asked what card I want to see in Disney Lorcana, the answer is almost always Floodborn Olaf. Now, granted, my vision of Bloodborne Olaf is like Marshmallow, but Olaf. So it's just like this beef husky Olaf. We didn't get that, but we did get a Floodborne Olaf, and I was very excited for it. Carrot Enthusiast is hysterical. So sad to say, I don't think this card is very good. 3 cost, inkable, 1 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore, shift, discard an item card, and then the ability of carrots all around. Whenever he quests, each of your other characters gets plus strength equal to this character's strength, or equal to this character's strength this turn. That's a lot of words that add up to nothing crazy important. So that's kind of a problem. I don't even know if this card's like worth discarding. I don't know what item is even worth discarding to play this card. I wish it had evasive, like something, like just I don't know, like literally something. Yeah, I don't know. It seems pretty bad. Sad to say. Awesome art. Love the Floodborn that we got a Floodborn Olaf, but I don't see it. Don't see it. Raja, 4 cost thinkable, 3 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore, steady gaze. While you have no cards in your hand, characters with 4 costs or less can't challenge this character. I don't know. I guess this is okay, right? Probably not. It seems really terrible, if I'm being honest. Like, it's a 4 cost. It dies the fox. Obviously, if you don't have any cards in your hand and, like, this is your best character in play, you're probably going to die anyway. So I don't know that that's good enough. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. It only doesn't die to fox if you don't have cards in your hand. So, like, that's it. I don't know if that's worth the cost of not dying to fox. Record player. This card is so confusing, but like, whatever. 2 cost, inkable item. Look at this. Whenever you play a song, chosen character gets -2 strength until end of turn, or until the start of your next turn. Okay, I guess that's good. It gives every song another line of text, which is fun. The hit parade, your character's name Stitch count as having +1 cost to sing songs. So this makes all of your Stitches effectively have singer +1 for their cost, which is like fine. But I don't know. I don't think this card's worth it at all. I don't think this is ever going to be worth it as an item slot in your deck. I don't think we're going crazy. Maybe with sing along, like it messes with numbers enough to make it reasonable. But all in all, I think this is a dud. I also think it's like gonna be one of the most commonly asked judge calls of how the hell this card actually works because of like the wording on it. I don't know exactly how I would have reworded it, but it does read like confusing to me, and it definitely comes into like asking a lot of questions, and I don't know. It's pretty poor. I'm just not a fan. Let's go back. Oh. Okay. Second star to the right. 10 cost, uninkable action song. Sing together 10. Chosen player draws 5 cards. So this is notable for a couple things. Okay, well, like chosen player draws 5 cards. So that means if there is a world where we can make a mill deck, this card is playing into it. I'm sure I'm willing to bet anybody that when these cards come out, there will absolutely be a mill deck around this card on Zephyr's channel. I would be shocked if this doesn't happen. Yeah. So super interesting. Again, if we want to play an Emerald Amethyst song deck, or an Emerald Amethyst Jafar deck, you know, if you can shift Jafar in and play and sing Second Star on the Right with Ursula, we can draw 10 cards and gain 10 lore. Seems okay. The card can, yes, it can just like literally just be sung with Chernobog, which is interesting because the Emerald, or I should say the Amethyst Amber decks are very reliant on certain cards to happen. I don't know if they can afford to play this card, if I'm being completely honest. But if there's any combination of cards that you want to play in your hyper aggro deck, Chernobog and like Second Star to the Right seem like an okay thing to at least test and try. Do I think it's going to be the end all be all? Probably not. Do I think it cost $1 million? Yes. Is the payoff good enough? If you're singing it with Ursula, definitely. If you have Jafar in play, it helps. I think this is really hard to call. I like the card. I want to say that it's good, but like 10 cost uninkables. If the things don't happen for you in the right order, if you can't untap and sing this card, and it just sits in your hand forever, Emerald, Ursula Deceiver will never let you sing this song ever. So there's a lot going against it. I don't know. It's tough to say. If you can play it before Wheel Its Worth, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I think this is like very, very fringe. I think it's only going to really see play in very particular decks. But that's not to say that it's not playable. It's just probably far too situational, which is where it might end up being. We'll have to see, though. Seldom All They Seem, 2 cost, inkable, action song, chosen character gets -3 strength this turn. Sure. I hate to keep doing it, but sure. See you later. Sign contract, 2 cost, inkable item, fine print. Whenever an opponent plays a song, you may draw a card. This is an interesting card. As an inkable card, I think that there's a realistic chance that this card sees play. Just because it's inkable. If this card was uninkable, I don't think it has a chance in hell. The fact that it's inkable, I think if stolen decks are prevalent, I'm down for this. Whenever an opponent plays a song, you may draw a card. Opponent plays Sudden Chill, you draw first. Whenever opponent plays a song, you may draw a card. I don't actually know that this is true. So, like, because of the way turn order works, opponent plays a song, his ability goes in the bag, your ability goes into the bag. Normally, turn players resolves first. So I'm pretty confident that they would resolve theirs first. I also think in order for this song to for this to even trigger, you have had to play the song. So I don't think it's like reactionary like that. I think like the way Lorcana works doesn't work in that world. It's kind of the same of I'm trying to think of the thing. I know it was in set 2 where there was like an interaction that caused you to like have to complete the song first. So I don't think that you have to do it. I think you have to discard the card first before you draw the card. So I'm pretty sure. But yeah, this card seems fine. Like I said, the fact that it's inkable, it gives a good choice. If Steel Songs or whatever songs becomes like really prevalent in the metagame, then playing this off like this card might be good enough. We'll see. Sign the Scroll, 3 cost, uninkable action. Each opponent may choose and discard a card. For each opponent who doesn't, you gain 2 lore. This card seems awful. I think in multiplayer it's probably fine, but aside from that, I don't think you're playing this card ever. Sisu, 3 cost, inkable, 1 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore with Surge of Power. This character gets +1 strength for each card in an opponent's hand. Okay. I don't even know. I don't even know how to feel about this card. Like, the 4 willpower is notable. Gets around like a lot of the removal that we're seeing. It dodges like things like Rafiki and things like that. It gives the ability to trade with pretty much everything on curve, depending on your opponent's hand. I don't know. This card's probably okay. I don't know if it fits or if it's necessary by any means, but it's probably fine. I will say that it's better than the other Sisu, most likely, which I guess is notable. But I don't know. It seems pretty fringe. I'm sure certain decks will like this. I'm sure certain decks will want this 2 lore for the 4 willpower. Like, so you really just want the stats of the willpower, and if you can get the trade from the strength, awesome. But I don't know. Snuggly Duckling, Disruptible Pub, 2 cost, 2 to move to 9 willpower location. Routine Ruckus. Whenever a character with 3 strength or more challenges another character while here, gain 1 lore. If the challenging character has 6 strength or more, gain 3 lore. Okay, so 9 willpower is great. Inkable is great. 2 to move to gain 1 lore seems meh. I don't think that's worth it, but 6 strength to gain 3 more makes Maui awesome again, right? I will say this card with Scar, the legendary Scar, is bananas. If you can ever set up that type of board and like get that fortunate, that might be pretty awesome. I don't know how often your opponent will play into that line because that would be really bad of them. But I think that's really great. Aside from that, I don't know. Maybe doesn't have its own lore. 2 to move to it to gain a lore seems bad, but 2 to move to it to gain 3 lore. If you can do that multiple times, like with LeFou or with Shield of Virtue or with the ability of Scar himself, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Hard to say. The Mob Song. Another 10 cost uninkable action song. Sing the other 10 with deal 3 damage to up to 3 chosen characters and or locations. So what I wish this card did is I wish that you could do 3 damage to like the same character 3 times. That would have been awesome. That's not what it does, so it makes me a little sad. I don't even know if this card is like good at all. Tapping your characters to deal 3 damage to 3 different dudes seems super situational. I don't know how much hitting the locations is going to matter at all. Again, if I could just like tap my characters and do 9, like that seems awesome. But the fact that you have to choose the characters, so this doesn't really get around ward, things like that. Like maybe it's okay if we're singing it with Ursula, but what characters are we singing it with? Because then we have to find like a 7 cost character that's good in steel, and I don't know if we can confidently say that. I don't know. I think this card's pretty mediocre, if I'm being honest. Not a fan. Art's cool, though. No, I keep going the wrong way. I guess Cinderella's fine. I don't know. Seems okay. The Muses. This card is very interesting, guys. 4 cost, inkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower, ward. It also has 1 lore, sorry. character has ward, and the gospel truth. Whenever you play a song, you may return chosen character with 2 strength or less to their player's hand. So, oh boy, let's have another drink of coffee. 2/4 with ward for 4, pretty good. The idea that we can abuse this card is very interesting to me. So we can utilize our singers to sing a song, get the benefit of the song, and then actually return them to our hand, which I think is interesting to protect them. I mean, we can like quest with cards and then use the muse to sing a song, bounce it back, protect some things, put it back into play. We can bounce opposing cards, like this can just like bounce like even like a bell, a high rim. Not that you necessarily want to bounce high rim, but like you could make your opponent play it again. Yeah. Like just even little things like Rafiki's, things like that, like just to like kind of gain board control. I think this is good. I do think where this card will shine is your own characters. If we can find enough ways to put our own characters back to our hand, to reuse them and replay them for that benefit, I imagine that you can build a deck around that. And if you can build a deck around that, you can probably really do some fun things and have some really fun interactions, and potentially like synergy is power there. So it's just a matter of how many times like that is good enough. As an example, like your Floodborn characters, not that there's that many Floodborn characters that have 2 strength or less, but that would be somewhere where I would think Ursula Deceiver, obviously a good one. Come back, put it back in your hand, strip your opponent's song again, things like that. Anytime we get more cards like that when they come into play and they do a thing, that's where I look for this card to shine, because you can just build around that. You can't always build around your opponent even having these characters. And I think if you're playing cards to make your opponent have these characters, it's worse on average. Whereas like if you're just playing them and utilize them to the best of their ability over and over again, it's probably stronger. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. I do think this card's very, very good, and I definitely won't be shocked if it's, again, like one of the standouts. The Wall. 4-cost inkable, 2 to move to, 8 willpower with the ability of Protect the Realm. I mean, this is like I mean, guys, how can you not read this card and go, oh, Ravensburger designers are like Game of Thrones fans? The Wall, Protect the Realm. I mean, like, it's right there, guys. It's right there. It's whew. So Protect the Realm. While you have an exerted character here, your other locations can't be challenged. Okay. Funny story about this, right? Let's go into story time. So yesterday I worked a double. So I worked in the morning and then I had to go back at work in the night. I did the in, did the out. And I got home, I did some stuff with the kids, and then I took a nap. And when I woke up from my nap, Kylie wants to talk about the spoilers for today. And I guess this was revealed yesterday or the day before. I can't remember. But Kylie was like so adamant that this card was good. And it was funny to me because she's like, she says, like, she tells me what the card does. I was like, it seems pretty meh. And she goes, what? Like, she got like actually upset about it, that I thought the card wasn't good. And it was like proud husband moment, seeing my wife being so defensive about a particular card. And I thought it was like the most hysterical thing of the day. And I was like, wow. I'm like, that's insane that this is the level of excitement you're getting about a card in a card game that you never would have done like 6 months ago. So it's a very interesting moment for me to go through that. And I was just like, I don't even know how to react to this right now. But the moral of the story is I think this card is unplayable. So It's nothing. Just my fun little story to share with you guys. TikTok. 6 cost, inkable, 4 strength, 7 willpower, 1 lore, evasive. Never gonna see play ever. We're gonna move on. Tour. 5 cost, inkable, 4 strength, 7 willpower, 1 lore. We're never gonna play this card. Moving on. Under the Sea. 8 cost, sing together 8. Action song. Put all opposing characters with 2 strength or less on the bottom of their player's decks in any order. I mean, this card might have to be good with pairing with other cards, which makes it harder to play, which makes me feel like this card is not good enough. 8's a lot. Like, maybe we can get there in certain matchups and certain decks where they can utilize this. They can sing it quickly. You know, obviously, like a 2 cost and a shiftable Tinkerbell could like come in and like reset the board potentially. And I don't know, maybe that's good enough. I don't think this is though. To me, this is like not be prepared. I like, it's a one-sided wrath against a small portion of decks within the metagame. That's the problem, right? Like, it's just like, it seems tough. It seems hyper specific. It is a great song. There's no doubt about that. Like, Under the Sea is a phenomenal song and a classic, but you just need, but like, that's so many things that you need to happen. So the Kita might be the answer. If we can shift Kita and have Kita minus everything, and then like we can sing together, like, there's no synergy within Ursula, obviously. Like, maybe that's fine, you know, if we're like shift Kita line with a 3 cost and we just get to like quote wrath your opponent, like, I guess that's good. But this is also like a 4 card combo to pull this off. I don't know. That's a lot. I like Timmy and all, but sometimes Timmy is Timmy, and I don't know. Hard to say. Really hard to say. Ursula's Garden. It's so many hoops. So many hoops. Ursula's Garden, 4 cost inkable, 2 to move to, 7 willpower, 1 lore, abandon hope. While you have an exerted character here, opposing characters have -1 lore. This card, like, is interesting. It's pretty good in certain scenarios. It's definitely good to like really mess up end of game math, which I think is kind of cool. I think early on, you know, not that if we get more cards like Jim Hawkins in a way, or like even just like more characters that like freely move to locations when they're played and stuff like that, something similar to that extent to like get on locations for less than their value. I think this card honestly has a pretty huge opportunity cost. Any of the aggro decks normally don't fight very well. So if you start taking 1 lore away from other cards, and then they can't fight the character that's on this, they can't fight the location itself, the location has a passive lore, like, I think there's a lot of things that like really does anti-synergy into aggro decks. So like, maybe that's good enough. I do think that there's probably some level of play to this card. It's of all the locations we've seen so far, this one feels like the closest to like a hard counter to a certain portion of the metagame. And because of that, it makes me feel like there's like a real chance for it. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It's definitely metagame dependent, 100%. Ursula, Eric's Bride. 4 cost uninkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore. Another shift, discard a song mechanic here. And then the ability of Vanessa's Design. Whenever this character quests, each opponent reveals their hand and discards a non-character card of your choice. So this is Bare Necessities on a stick, which is pretty good. Shifting to discard a song, like, if we're at a point where we're playing like a lot of conditional songs, then this card's awesome, I guess, right? Like, I can't find a downside to this card at all. I like obviously it's uninkable and that sucks, but this card is very real. Yeah, like super good. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, Jesus, it seems mean. I don't have anything bad to say about this, right? This card's just good, right? Like this feels like a unanimous decision here. Like, this card's just good. That's my guess. Very strong, very powerful. I love the art on this one again, but like being able to just bare necessities on quest. The downside is that shift targets are better cards. I mean, that's not true, right? Like, if you can upgrade your deceiver if you can upgrade your deceiver into this on turn 3, that seems insane. Like, that seems so good. Like, I'm all about that. Yeah, I mean, whatever. And like, I'm not even certain that you need to shift a card for this card to be good. Like, you might be able to just play this card on like 3 with Pongo or Doc, or not Doc, or like Pongo or Lantern, and be pretty happy about it. So I think even going into turn 5, like, even if it's forcing your opponent to ink their those cards, like, it's probably taking them off their game plan regardless. She's 2 lore, she has 4 willpower. She's in a she's in an ink combination that has plenty of bodyguards to protect her, kind of like completely continue to utilize her. Shifting with John seems great. Yeah, that's really good. You can turn 2 Deceiver, turn 3 play Prince John, turn 4 discard a song, play Ursula, sing, take a card, draw a card. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to like about this card. I think it's very good. Ursula's Lair. We'll move in a little bit. 3 cost uninkable, 2 strength, 6 willpower, 1 lore. Sleepy Halls. Whenever a character is banished in a challenge while here, you may return them to your hand. Seat of Power. Character's name Ursula gets +1 lore here. I don't think that this card gonna see any play. Like, maybe, but I don't think so. If this is real, what are your thoughts from? Oh, we're gonna get to that. I promise. That's when I'm done these cards, which I don't know how many are left. We're gonna end on the Lorcana challenge. But yeah, Ursula's Lair. I personally, this card is not very good. Is this it? Are we done? No. Oh, we don't talk about Bruno. Go back to sleep. Listen. All right, so let's have a TED talk right before. We can't talk about Bruno anyway, right? Like, we're not even allowed to. So we can talk about my lack of sleep for like the last 9 days now. I went to work last night. I got home at like 2:30 in the morning. I was up till 4, and my kids woke me up at 6:15, and here I am, streaming with you guys for almost an hour and a half now. And I'm drinking this mug, right? Make today magical. We're trying our best. This mug holds 2 full cups of large coffees. So that's where we're at today. And we have a challenge or a set champs to play in like 6 hours or something like that. It's going to be a fun day. It's okay, Dick. I'll be fine. I promise. We don't talk about Bruno. 5 cost inkable song. Return chosen character to their player's hand, then that player discards a card at random. I hate the idea of adding random to this game. This card's good. I think this card's good. The idea that you can no, you can't even do that. Damn it. I was gonna say something that you can't do. I think this card's probably fine. I mean, it's like the closest thing. It holds more if you had. I know, man. Stop hating on me. Listen, Kylie bought things without my acknowledgement. Like, this is like the closest thing we're gonna get to Emerald to hard removal, right? So, is it overcosted? Yes, but like, could it be lower? Probably not. It's a weird cost too, because a lot of your 5-cost cards in Emerald, for example, are like your closers with 2 or 3 lore, or even more in some cases. So I don't know that we ever really want to exert them to sing this. That could be a problem. It might be okay to just, like, once you have a board established, if you want to stay ahead, you just pay 5. Similar to how Emerald Steel sometimes just pays forward to Zeus something and then keeps turning the card sideways. Maybe this card is similar in vein, where you're just like, hey, I have a board well positioned, so rather than playing another character, I'm just gonna like remove one of your characters and kind of get rid of it and like time walk you or something. But maybe, I don't know. It's inkable. So like, because it's inkable, maybe, Scott's pointing out like Robin Hood. Yes, like I guess it's another shift line for Robin Hood in that deck in Emerald Steel. It's inkable, which is huge, because a lot of the songs that we're singing with Robin Hood are uninkable, so that definitely pays into it. And as Dick said, it costs 0, so it's probably broken. Can't argue that. That's all the songs. Actually, it's all the cards. We're past it. We did it. 46 cards. Hour and 20 minutes. I'll take it. What's the time on that? Who does math? I'm too tired to do math. I'll bring it up my phone. Let's see. Da 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 da. 46. I'm bad. 82? No, yeah, 82 divided by 46. That's like less than 2 minutes a card on average. Your picks did suck. Facts. All of the picks. We're not done, Dick. We got to talk about 2 games, bro. We're not even done yet. Your picks did suck. You're bad. I'm just kidding. You listen, you did all the work. I just copied and pasted them. All right. So this morning, guys, something awesome happened. And we're going to bring it up. I'm going to remove. We're going to present. Let's see. Window. Kapow! So, someone just asked a little bit ago about the Wargamer article that came out. And it says, here's why Disney Lorcana is ditching best of 3 tournaments. And in the article written by Timothy Linward, which, like, if you guys want to know who he is, we can scroll to the bottom, I think. Where is he at? No? Okay, we go back up top. I read who this guy was, right? So, whoops. Not what we wanted. We wanted this. He's a staff writer. He's a Warhammer 40K, Horus Hersey fanatic who dabbles in TTRPGs, board games, and MPG. You'll often find him delving through games, workshops, financial reports for gaming news. So this guy's not new, right? He's got some stuff to him. But this is big. So I have to find the particular quotes, but if you want, here, I'll post the article here in case anyone wants to read this for themselves. Jesus, that's a long post. My goodness. Should have hit the shorten button. The article discusses kind of like the announcement and the reasoning behind the best of 2 format, or the 2 game format. Sorry, my bad. And kind of like the feedback they've gotten from their own testing, from players and things like that have kind of had the experience. So I imagine there's like some level of discussion points between their groups that have been playtesting the system for however long they've been doing it. Some public feedback that got out there. It's not like they're blind. It's not like they can't go and read. It's not like they don't listen to content. Like I don't know anyone on the planet Earth that was stoked about this particular thing. So the new kind of challenge format will forego the traditional best of 1 or best of 3 rounds, instead borrowing a note from a sports that runs paired home and away games Players will play 2 games each round, earning 3 points for each win and a bonus point for winning both games. The scoring system and a number of tiebreakers will determine the top cut players, who then compete in traditional single elimination best of 3. So if everyone remembers, the announcement came out with the Lorcana challenge announcement, I believe. I think they were in the same announcement where we were finding out about the Lorcana challenges and the 2-game format. And the 2-game format was structured to be a 1 point per win and then a bonus point for the 2-0 sweep. So it was very heavily weighted on the 2-0 functioning, and it created some moments that were not great, in all honesty. It created like these positions in tournaments that were just incentivizing collusion, which is not what you want in games at all, specifically at the highest level of competition, which official organized play will be. So because of that, the feedback came out. I think several different people talked about it. I talked about it on every interview that I've hosted since the Lorcana Challenge on purpose. I was consistently trying to get information from the players that I was interviewing, the most competitive players that were, competing in high-level events and succeeding, seeing how they felt about the system. And it was almost unanimous. Everyone really likes 2 games. Everyone really likes the pace of 2 games, the shortened rounds. Everyone hated the bonus point. Like, it was unanimous. The bonus point sucked. This concept of every game matter wasn't true. Now, with this concept of every game is worth 3 points that you win, and then if you 2-0, it's only worth a third of that, it really disincentivizes collusion a ton, because the extra point isn't as meaningful, which means you're really more willing to play for each game rather than this world where you sit down and you say to your opponent, like, hey, if we won one, we're like going to fall behind. So we should just like play one game. And then the person who wins that game, like, just wins both games because it's better. And I kept expressing to people that if, Atlanta is 11 rounds, if there's a player that plays 11 rounds and goes 11-11, at the end of the tournament, they have 11 points. If another player plays all 11 rounds and goes 12-10, they have 18 points. That's a 7-point difference. That's insane. Like, insane. So when you leverage that much on the 2-0 bracket and that much extra points, it creates these moments where tiebreakers don't even exist anymore, because the point barriers that you get to at the end of specific rounds pretty much eliminates tiebreakers entirely. That is the core reason why this like level of gentleman's handshake agreement of playing a best of 1 for the 3 points would have been better than playing 2 games for 1 point each on average. I think this is a great change, personally. I think going to the 3-3-1, I compared it to football the other day. This is basically like American football. So like field goals are 3 points, and then touchdowns, whenever you score a touchdown, you have the ability to get an additional point. So it's like if I win a game, I get a field goal. If my opponent wins a game, he gets a field goal. If I win both games, it's like I scored a touchdown and I get a bonus point. That's kind of how I'm like explaining it to people. I think it's very good. I think this is way better. It definitely disincentivizes this like weird handshake gentleman's disagreement on everything. So yeah, I'm happy about that. As for anything else, I don't think the article covers much more. It was really just how they came to it. The feedback is evident in a finalized scoring system for the new format. Originally, players only received a single point for winning a match, so the bonus point they got for winning both games in a round was weighted the same as a match win. This was a hotly debated point among competitive players, which led to the current weighting. So every game matters, like Scott said. If this is true, it's a great step in the right direction, and players will only collide in the last few rounds of day 1. Yeah, I think it's great. Personally, I'm excited for it. I think that doing this before Atlanta is a way better precedent than a bunch of shitty things happening in Atlanta and then them like overreacting and like trying to like full swing fix it for Chicago. They're just like, you know what? Maybe we were wrong and we read the feedback, we understand it, we asked the right questions, and we created a solution that we can implement before we ever make the mistake. And this is just another like opportune moment to go. On average, when Ravensburger seems to make a mistake, whether it's with the print run, whether it's with like a wording on a card, like an errata for like certain cards we've already seen, whether it's with specific rulings, they've been very quick to react. It might be a little over a month since the challenges were released, 5 weeks, but like still a month before the event even happens, giving players the opportunity to test this out in their local tournaments. I think that's great. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah. I'm glad Ravensburger is willing to listen and potentially try different things. I'm totally for that. I like that Ravensburger will learn from themselves and others. Yeah, exactly. Whew. All right. 90 minutes. I didn't even finish my coffee yet. Is there anything else, guys? Did I miss anything? How's everyone feel about singing together? How's everyone feel about the shift mechanic? If you're watching this after the fact, leave a comment. Feel free and let me know. I would rather them try new things but quickly change and adapt than do nothing new. It's fair. It's fair. I love the 2-game format. 100%. I love that it's quicker. I love that tournaments will move faster. I'm the kind of person that like when we go to tournaments, I am on average looking more forward to the dinner after the tournament than the tournament itself these days, because I just want to like be with my friends, be with my team, and really enjoy my time that I'm there. So like anything that points towards a shorter tournament and more time with like the people that I really care about is a win for me. But I do think having the structure is great. Everything is broken the internet. Facts. Do you think Amber Mulan is going to be meta now? No. Maybe, cards like that will always have an opportunity cost. So like the more songs that are playable, the more songs that you're willing to put in your deck and play them, the more ways to manipulate the top of your deck also goes a long way. The more high risk, high reward moments are always there. So like all the signs point to it having it, but I think that it's very hard to play the game and expect her to be a song Mufasa, because there aren't enough cards that allow you to win the game like specifically through songs. So like, yeah, you can have like this world where like multiple flutes can do a thing. Obviously we have the new song that like gives you lore, takes 2 lore away. We have bosses on a roll, so you can actually like kind of set up and like manipulate like your next few turns. But in the end, like on average, like how many uses are you even going to get from this card? I don't know. Seems pretty mid. Betty and Bob brought back blue balloons from the big bizarre better butter Brad's bread. Sick. No, I don't think they're too. I think the inkable ones are very fine because you can still ink them in the matchups that they're awful in, or like against Emerald decks, they're gonna like punish you for having these high costed cards. But the uninkable ones, I think, will struggle. I think it's gonna be difficult to hold on to those songs. You're never keeping them in your opening hand. You are literally pitching them all the time. And much like Be Prepared, like you don't ever want to see Be Prepared in your opening hand. These cards are no different. So they're like, their opportunity cost is wonderful, but it's only when you see them at like the mid game that you want to, or even the late game that you want to. So, I also think a lot of songs you don't want to. Yeah, there's that. So yeah, I think they're good. Tongue twisters, you bad. Zimba with a Z, man. It's a Z. Zimba. There hasn't been any Zimba spoilers yet, so there's that. But we got through 46 of them, which is great. I will say that I've been talking for 95 minutes straight now by myself. I'll never say that one right. Tamatoa, is that right? I don't even know. Tamatoa. That one's so difficult. But yeah, a lot of fun this morning. Chat, you guys were awesome. If I look over at Twitch feed, looks like there's thank you Fantasy Factory for subscribing with Prime. Awesome, thank you so much. Couple new followers today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I had a blast. I do need to see if there's someone to raid, right? We learned this new trick the other day of how to raid people, so we got to do it. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Is there anyone hanging out? Who's hanging out? Let's see. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Hey, thanks for the the subscribe there, Dick Burns. I appreciate it. Chernobyl is is Chernobyl is it George? George sounds like he would pronounce it Chernobyl. No. Okay. Does it work? No, wrong name. Wrong name. Does it work? Yay, it works. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out today with us. We are going to raid Wonderland, active Twitch streamer. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. It's been awesome. For those of you on YouTube, thank you so much. And we will catch you in the next one. See you guys. Bye.